This is a unique program that we've put together today. We've got folks here that are a part of city life, of elected life, that have served this community as public servants. And so we want to talk a little bit about the crossroads of faith and community, of serving in a public office. Because without a doubt, that has been a subject that many people have talked about over the last several years. And so let me just begin, and I'll let whoever wants to jump in with this. How do you live out your faith in your public life?
It was interesting, an employee at the City of Fresno, on my first interim stint, she used to tell me, you're doing really a pretty good job. Your mother must pray a lot. And I said, yeah, my prayers get to about the ceiling and stop, and hers go a lot further. And she has taught the whole thing of having faith and relying on the Word. And that's really a strength, because it becomes very political, and the chief administrative officer essentially goes from week to week. They can be terminated at any time, so they're at will. And I survived, 3 interim times, of which on the fourth time was kind of the charm.
Faith to me is context. It is about, there is something bigger than you, and there's something bigger than the office you hold. And when you get those mixed up, I think we don't get nearly the public service. And the other thing that faith has taught me and refined fully at Fresno Pacific in the Mennonite tradition is the idea of the common good. When we lose sight and operate from something other than the common good, you also get a different set of outcomes. So those are the two. When I think about faith, I think it is, for me, it is very private. I don't typically talk about it. I don't really know how to talk about it. I'd like to be judged by the actions. But those two things, context and common good, have really been powerful forces for me in this nighttime job I have as the mayor of the city of Clovis.
The very basic value I have, which I know is a result of my faith, is that every decision that I make sure that I can sleep with it at night. So it's very personal. I completely agree with Mayor Ashbeck. Very personal for me every night. And so long as what I do in the course of the day allows me to sleep good at night, I know I've done the right thing.
When you say your faith, what do you mean by that?
Well, for me, it's maybe it's where I go to church or where I don't go to church. You can make some decisions about that. But I think it is my belief and my commitment to the Christian faith. And I don't ever have to say that to you out loud, right? So how I live my life, Oliver and I were laughing earlier. When you run for office, people ask you lots of questions. Are you this, or are you that, or what do you think about abortion? So those are conversations. When they say that's how I can judge your character, by your faith or your position on those issues, I say you got to judge it some other way. You got to judge it by how I act, because the public arena is not the place to convince you to be a Christian or a Muslim or anything. So for me, it is a religious decision, and it's a way I live my life. For me,
I don't know if I can add more than what our other two speakers have said, but I agree. I think we live our faith by our actions. People can judge that by what we do. There are a lot of people that we all know, and we won't call out any names, that proclaim to be...
No, feel free to name names. Feel free to name names. That's what we do.
Listen, that claim to be very devout or very people of deep faith, and then you question some of the things you hear them say and question some of the things you see them do. So whether or not me and any person in this room has a discussion about where I go to church or what my religious beliefs are, I believe that people that interact with me know that I'm trying to do the right thing, and that's my faith that guides me, and I think that that's much more important than saying, oh well, I go to Westside Church of God every Sunday, as if some kind of way that makes me okay. That isn't what makes me okay. You need to look at my votes, you need to look at my actions, you need to listen to the things that I say. And very few times, as the mayor said, are we talking about faith in the public environment, right? I mean, it just really there really isn't a place for that for us and what we do, but you can certainly judge our faith by our actions. You can see how we interact and in the scope of our work and know that we're being guided by faith or not.
I want to know a value system. I want to know where you're going to draw from of right and wrong, of morality, of good and bad, that you are going to judge when you make decisions that I'm electing you to make. So that's why, to me, as a voter, not so much your specific religion. If a guy got up and said, yeah, I'm a member of the KKK, okay, that's a religious structure, I'd say, no, that's not the guy I think I want to vote, because I know where his values are.
Well, it takes a little bit of time, I think, for the voter to be able to see what that person is really like, even when you talk about administration.
So in other words, you have to vote for it before we read it.
No, I think values are stated. Values are stated, but the rascal in the person will come out as you see him function, at that governance level.